Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC.
Well, we continue to roll along this morning on 1480 WHBC, and as has been the case now for a number of weeks in a row, we have had the pleasure of talking with individuals from child and adolescent behavioral health, and that continues today as we bring in Dr. Karita Nussbaum, who is the program manager of the Gemini and STAR programs at CNA. And Dr. Nussbaum, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show today, John.
Well, it's great to have you here, and it's always great to have discussions about mental health and things that are currently facing our kids today. So how long have you been with CNA at this point, Dr. Nussbaum?
I've been here at CNA for about 3 years, just over 3 years. Before that, I worked with adults that were struggling with drugs and alcohol addiction. And before that, primarily with kids in residential treatment. I actually started my career working with youth. Some were involved in the criminal justice system. I did an internship for my master's degree at Stark County Family Court way back in the late 1990s. The court actually hired me to work with their pretrial release youth, and that experience has now come back around to be helpful with the STAR program.
So you mentioned the STAR program. I mentioned the Gemini program as well, but what is it that you do with CNA, and how do those things kind of intermingle with each other?
Well, most of my work's in administrative. That involves supervising other social workers. I do some training for the staff. I oversee the Gemini and the STAR programs. I also have a small handful of clients, and I assess youth that are coming in for treatment. That doesn't sound like a lot, but now that I say it, but there's a lot going on at CNA, especially with those two programs.
Now, what are those two programs? What do they do, and how do they help kids out?
So the Gemini program came as a result of seeing an upward trend in youth that have both substance use and mental health concerns. According to the CDC report from 2019, more serious substance use is down, but marijuana use continues to rise along with mental illness. We've seen an increase in reported use, especially in relation to COVID-19. Youth are reporting higher levels of depression and anxiety. Many use substances to cope with the tension that surrounds this time. Youth vaping has increased as well. Younger kids as young as elementary age are now beginning to use a substance.
So I take it then that the Gemini program is kind of designed for children and teens that have both mental illnesses as well as that substance abuse at this time, and how does that program work then to help those kids out?
Yeah, so youth ages 14 and up can be treated through specific interventions that address both substance use and mental health. Sometimes it's difficult to know which one comes first, the substance use or the mental illness. Often they're intertwined. For example, a youth may try vaping because it looks like fun, but then discovers that the buzz calms them down. They may begin to vape to relieve stress, which probably works, except then the vaping causes more stress, and now they're hiding it from their parents or wondering how to afford it or get more. It just becomes a vicious cycle. And the same could be said for marijuana and alcohol use.
Dr. Karita Nussbaum is our guest this morning from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. She is the program manager of the Gemini and STAR programs at CNA. Dr. Nussbaum, how has COVID had an effect on substance abuse? How has it had an effect on mental health and substance abuse working together for kids during this time?
Yeah, at first what kids said was that COVID interfered with their use. For kids that were getting substances at school or used with their friends when the lockdown happened in the spring, many kids were without connections, which then cut down their use. But now that they're back in school, interacting with others, use has actually increased. Kids report now that they're bored because of the limitations of social distancing and lack of activities. They're tired of the stress and the tension. They just want things to go back to normal. I think the presence of fear and anxiety is also difficult for them because these are kids after all. They're learning to cope, and coping's a skill that takes time to develop.
So what happens when a youth is using substances and has the mental health, and then they come to CNA? What happens? What do they go through next? How are they evaluated? How does that work if a parent is listening this morning, Dr. Nussbaum?
So first of all, we want to identify whether there's a chemical dependency. So we talk with them about the amount, the frequency and the duration of their use. If they use only a few times a month, then they wouldn't be dependent. But if it's every few days or every day, then it's more likely they've become dependent and are addicted. Now, I use the word addicted, which is really scary. No one wants their kid to have that label, and youth especially don't want to be called an addict. Well, I don't actually know anyone that wants to be an addict. The good news is that addiction's treatable. So this doesn't mean that youth have to be sent to a residential facility. Treatment starts with the least restrictive method, usually one-on-one. We call this levels of care. Levels of care refers to the level of intensity of the treatment. And then intensity generally means the frequency of sessions or the length of sessions.
Dr. Karita Nussbaum is my guest. She is the program manager of the Gemini and STAR programs, child and adolescent behavioral health. So I guess the youth is kind of graded then on how much they use, on when they use it, on what they use it for. Would that be correct?
Yeah, right.
So then after that, what happens in the process kind of following that then, if that is what they are diagnosed with?
So then we look at their mental health needs and we assess those. We look at symptoms, we determine a mental health diagnosis along with a substance diagnosis. In 2019, the most common mental illness diagnoses for adolescents were mood disorders, such as depression and anxiety, behavior disorders, which would be related to anger management, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and related to that.
So it really seems like with everything happening right now and with everything that we're going through, kids are truly struggling, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, some of them.
All right, well, we'll take a break here. Dr. Karita Nussbaum is our guest. She is another name from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, the program manager of the STAR and Gemini programs. As I said, we'll take a break. We'll come back and continue the discussion with Dr. Nussbaum after the news this morning on WHBC.
Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC. 1480 WHBC has always been there for you.
Thank you for being a voice of calm and correct information in a world of chaos and misinformation.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Attention Starr County manufacturers. Looking to grow your business? Let the expertise of Magnet help you with your goals. From innovation to operation, Magnet has been unlocking prosperity for over 30 years. See how they can help you at manufacturingsuccess.org.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin a deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 50% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 50% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. This sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 50% off and a free camera today.
Pick it, pull it, car parts. Canton Auto Salvage has the parts you're looking for and a huge selection of inventory, including tires and wheels. That's right, if you need tires, check out Canton Auto Salvage first. At Canton Auto Salvage, you can either pick it or they can pull it. Just call and tell them what you're looking for. 330-453-3888. That's 330-453-3888. Or like them on Facebook. They feature the latest inventory and check out pictures of the cars available for sale. Canton Auto Salvage, just off Mahoning on Baldwin Avenue Northeast in Canton.
We're back. Yes, Ohio Means Job Centers in Stark and Tuscarawas counties is eager to assist you with your employment needs, virtually or in person, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4:30. Due to COVID-19, if you need to come to our centers for assistance, you will need to schedule an appointment. Appointments are available 10 to 3 Monday through Friday. In Canton, call us at 330-433-9675. In New Philadelphia, 330-364-9777. Remember, Ohio Means Job Centers has always given you the tools you need to get the job you want and the employees you need.
I'm Terry from Verndale's Water Center. Remember Verndale's for all your water filter needs. We offer a complete line of cartridge filters, from drinking water to whole house filters. Shop Verndale's Water Center today.
Verndale's Water Center. Tap into Verndale's Water.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, we do have a winter weather advisory up for most of Ohio. That includes Stark, Carroll, Tuscarawas, and Wayne counties from tonight into early Wednesday. A winter storm warning for Summit, Portage, and the Lake Effect counties from tonight through midday on Wednesday. We could see anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow in our area, with the higher amounts basically coming north of Stark County. Officials do say this will be a heavy, wet snow. They say be very, very careful as you are planning to travel over the next couple of days. President-elect Joe Biden will be seen in a walking boot now. He suffered a fractured ankle while playing with his dogs over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Summa Health in Akron joining the Cleveland Clinic in sidelining most of its elective procedures. Officials with those health systems say those will both start tomorrow. Police in Toronto, Ohio, near Steubenville, investigating a bizarre case of child neglect. They showed up to a home last week and found a 2- and 3-year-old boy trapped inside a room. Their mother left them locked in the room while she went to work. One of the boys actually got neighbors' attention to call police by hanging out the window of the room, throwing clothing into the yard. More news coming up at 11 o'clock. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. A winter storm warning remains in effect from 7 p.m. this evening through 10 a.m. Wednesday. Rain will change to snow and accumulate up to 8 inches before ending tomorrow evening. Windy this afternoon with rain and snow, high 43, winds gusting to 30 miles per hour. Breezy tonight with snow, low 31. Windy tomorrow with snow, high 33, gusts to 30 miles per hour. I'm Holly Holden for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
On top of everything else 2020 has thrown at you, coronavirus! Why add to the hassle? That's why we're making it easy and bringing Santa to you. A virtual visit with Santa right in your own living room. After all,
are you on the good list or the naughty list?
You've definitely made it to the nice list.
Log on to WHBC.com and share your children's Christmas list with Santa, and you could win a virtual visit with the big man himself.
Wrapped up by Hartville Hardware and Hartville Kitchen and Shops.
We offer so much more, the kind of place you're looking for. DeVille Apartments, the place to be.
With 2020 finally winding down, it's time to look ahead to 2021 in hopes for a quick return to normal. If your plans include an upgrade to your apartment living, look at the award-winning communities at DeVille Apartments. Limited availabilities at Linden Square and Woodlawn Village make now the best time to get that new place. With paid utilities and pet-friendly apartments, your new normal can look very good. Check out all the DeVille communities at DeVilleAPTS.com. That's DeVilleAPTS.com. From everyone at DeVille Apartments, stay safe, stay happy, and enjoy the holiday.
DeVille Apartments, DeVille is the place to be. DeVille Apartments, DeVille is the...
Does your child have a smile that lights up the room, yet there is sadness in their eyes? Does your child seem happy but is missing their friends? Perhaps they are having a bad day. A bad day is normal. But if your child continues to have multiple bad days, they may be experiencing anxiety or depression. It might be time to get help. Your child's mental health is as important as their physical health. Child and adolescent behavioral health can make a difference. Call 330-433-6075 or find us online at childandadolescent.org.
Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC.
John Bozica, 1480 WHBC, as we continue the segment along here with child and adolescent behavioral health, talking this morning with Dr. Karita Nussbaum, who is the program manager for the Gemini and STAR programs a couple of different things. Dr. Nussbaum, I know that when we left off, we were talking about, mental illnesses. We were talking about substance abuse. We were talking about those things and how both of these programs kind of address those at the same time, don't they?
Yeah, they often feed off of each other. For example, if a youth learns to manage their symptoms of anxiety, then the need for substance use decreases, hopefully goes away. That's always my goal for them, that they learn skills to manage what's going on internally.
So what is the STAR program? We really touched on the Gemini program, but what's the STAR program?
STAR is a specialized program with Stark County Family Court for youth that have been adjudicated with drug-related crimes. STAR stands for Substance Treatment and Remediation. It's a very intensive program involving probation-like accountability as well as treatment. If they complete the program, then their charges are removed. It's hard work for them. They have to really want to make changes in their life in order to complete this program.
So it's almost as if it acts like a second chance then for these kids, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody makes mistakes, and it's nice to have a do-over and be given the opportunity to learn from our mistakes.
So Dr. Nussbaum, Dr. Karita Nussbaum is our guest from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, the program manager of the STAR and Gemini programs. What advice do you give parents then that are looking to maybe use these programs, looking to get into them and trying to help their kids at this point?
Well, first of all, I want to validate that sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between what's normal teenage moodiness, changing hormones, or the use of substances. There's a few things to watch for. The list could be long, so here's 6 things that I would recommend parents pay attention to. First of all, look for changes in their kids' behavior. If the child is once quiet, now they're really loud, for example. The second one, look for neglected appearance. If the youth is not showering, they're not combing their hair, not wearing clean clothes, that sort of thing. The third one, if they're starting to have problems in school or at work, if they're late a lot, tardy, if they're not getting their homework done, watch for that. The fourth one, if they're having problems with money, if they seem to be always asking for money, if they don't have enough money, pay attention to that. The fifth one, if there's physical health issues, for example, if they get colds, if they're tired a lot, again, just unusual sorts of things. And then the last one, number 6, pay attention to the attitude of their peers. If their friends think using drugs is kind of cool, if it's okay, pay attention to that. If they think it's not a big deal, again, it's more likely than the child will then start to adopt those same sorts of opinions. And these are just signs to watch for. Have conversations with them, with the kids. Kids they need to talk about substance use. They're super resourceful. They're amazingly educated. It's not unusual for them to look up information online. They often educate me on the latest trends and data about marijuana, especially.
So do you think that if adults talk to them about the drug use, then they'll become maybe more interested? And I think it's the thought that if putting the ideas in their head, is that something that can lead to them wanting to learn more about this, wanting to see how it works?
Not usually. I know people think that a lot. These kids have already had the idea. They've come into contact with the information. I think it's better if parents have conversations with them. It keeps the door open. The underlying message should always be not to use substances, at least not until they're of legal age. I often tell youth not to use marijuana until in their 20s if they feel like they must use it. The brain stops growing in the middle 20s, and the chances of damage to the brain is less then. Of course, I suggest they not do it at all, but if they insist, then I encourage them to wait until their brain is full grown.
Well, Dr. Nussbaum, Dr. Karita Nussbaum, the program manager of the STAR and Gemini programs at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Dr. Nussbaum, thanks so much for joining us today. If someone would like to contact you, how can they go about doing that?
They can call any of the numbers at the Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health Center. If you look it up online, the numbers are there. Ask for me if they want to talk to me specifically, or just ask for somebody about the Gemini program. The STAR program is just for court-referred youth only.
Dr. Nussbaum, thanks for your time this morning. Be safe, and we look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a break here. End of our segment for the day with Dr. Karita Nussbaum from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Great getting the chance to talk with her and hear about the STAR and Gemini programs this morning. When we return, though, we dive back into the coronavirus, what we need to know, what's the latest on that, and what Dr. Fauci has said. But again, thanks to Dr. Nussbaum from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. We'll be right back.
Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC.
Health experts are saying that carrying around face masks are going to be something similar to carrying around your phone because it's something we're just going to have to get used to.
Provided by News Talk 1480.